Hello there, everyone. Welcome to a new Let's Play with me, your host, Tim. And today, we're going to start playing through Thief Gold again. There'll be some prep here that you can skip, by going to the appropriate segment of it in the video. I've learned how to segment videos on YouTube, and there will be no need for me to have a pinned comment below anymore with timestamps in it. They'll all be here for you to see right now. We're going to talk a little bit about why we're playing this game again, what type of game it is, how far I got in it in case you're curious if I've played this game before, which I absolutely have, and any special stuff I will be doing as we play this game, which is to say any house rules that I'll be using, and any particular things that I'll be doing as I play through this game that maybe other people who play this game don't do. So let's get started. So Thief Gold is the updated version of Thief the Dark Project. It's a first-person shooter game. We see out the eyes of Garrett, Master Thief, and our objective is to acquire a certain amount of loot, generally, from the mission we will be doing, or the missions we will be doing, as well as complete any other objectives unique to that mission. Garrett himself is not supposed to be a fighter, and I will not be playing him as a murderer, so you should not expect me to be a lot of killing, but the game is more of a sneaking game. It's being thief. It's right there in the title. We're supposed to be stealing stuff and not being detected, more than killing everyone and piling the bodies someplace and wallowing in the gibs that are everywhere. In any case, there'll be a little bit of that, depending upon what we're fighting. We'll cover that when we get to the house rules. We're playing this game again because I've really been in the mood to play the Thief series again, and I've tried watching my Thief playlists up here on YouTube already, and they're decent, but I wanted to play them again, so we're going to do that starting today. I have beaten this game before. I have played this game many times. I have beaten this game probably 13 or 15 times over the past 21 years or so since it was first released. I really like Thief the Dark Project. It's a great game. I really like the first one in the series. It's nice and dark. It was one of the first games that had sneaking with audio cues as to where you need to be and how you want to avoid enemies because you can hear them walking around. It's done an amazing job of replicating what it would be like to be a thief in the magical world that we'll find ourselves in. It's a steampunk slash I don't want to say really like low magic world, although we won't see very much magic. It will be there. We will see some of it. And there's undead in this world as well, and some fantasy creatures also that we will be encountering as we play through the game. In any case, you should not expect there to be a whole lot of anything new, especially because I just recently attempted to record Thief Gold from my channel over the course of the past month or two. But my videos were having, I wasn't happy with the way the audio was coming out, and they were a little too dark. On one hand, I like the gamma being low, because I feel it's more thematic for us to see how dark the dark areas look. On the other hand, it was a little too dark. We would have struggled to see where anything was. So as such, you should expect almost all these missions, with the exception of the final 3, to be ones that I really do remember quite well, having more or less just done them. Then I had to throw all that away to do this again, but you guys are worth it. I'm also running some mods on the game. I think I have something called I think it's called like the T-Fix or TF Fix. And I'm also running the high definition texture mod in the game as well. I will talk a little bit more about this when we get into the tutorial, because we will be doing the tutorial. There's a little bit of lore at the beginning of the tutorial. If you've never seen the Thief game before, you will get a chance to see what the general idea is of playing it and how some special things that exist as we play the game, which is to say, in particular, sound and vision, and how combat works as well. There are several house rules I will talk about, but I will wait to talk about them when we get to the actual first mission, as opposed to at this moment. But I think I've covered all the basics, so I'm now going to go check on my voice to make sure everything's coming out okay, and if everything sounds like it's good, we'll go ahead and do the tutorial. And then, once again, we'll do some more talking at the beginning of the tutorial, and when we get to the first mission. Give me a few seconds. Alright, folks. Let's go ahead and do the tutorial.
I was a kid. No parents, no home. Running messages and picking pockets to keep my ribs from meeting my spine. One night I saw a man. Folks just passed him by like he wasn't there. I thought he must have something valuable, so I snuck up on him and made a grab.
That's not for you.
Please, sir, I'm hungry. Don't tell the Hammers, I promise.
What is your name, boy?
Garrett.
You have talent, lad.
Let go of me, old man.
To see a keeper is not an easy thing, especially one who does not wish to be seen. We have a need for those as gifted as yourself. If you've grown tired of how you live, then follow me, and we will show you a different way.
Leave me alone.
As you wish.
I caught up with him just before he vanished into the crowd. It was the beginning of a very long education.
A keeper's training. Difficulty hard. Follow the directions of your instructor in order to pass the training tests.
Welcome, young Garrett. In the nearby rooms, I will instruct you in the various skills you will need to survive. Please stay in the entrance area to each room while I explain the room's purpose. When you are ready to begin your lessons, proceed down this hallway to the first room.
Man, the game looks amazing. Oh, you know, I never saw this ladder here ever before. Let's climb it, and we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the HD mod that I am running. As you can see, this looks incredible. It is a very pretty game, thanks to this mod. And I wanted to make sure that I spent some time to thank the makers of this mod and the community of the Thief series, who have done an amazing, incredible job of keeping this game, the theme and atmosphere it has, alive. There have been years where the only game I played was Thief, the Dark mod, or Thief New Dark, I think is what it was, with the Dark engine, or Dromid, and just played fan missions. It was incredible. I had so much fun. And I don't know if I've ever really spent the time to thank the people that put the amount of time in order to let the game look like this and keep the atmosphere alive and design their own custom maps for people to play. It's been amazing. If you like the Thief series, you should really check out the Dark mod. I'll try to remember to put a pinned comment in this video so you can go and download it. It's a game engine that allows you to play fan missions, and the ones I played were amazing. Honestly, some were even better than the missions that we are about to do here in Thief Gold. It's been incredible. The amount of detail, work, and accuracy that the fans have done in keeping their games similar to the Thief series and the world it was set in. In particular, though, I think I want to spend a few minutes here and thank the people who have made this mod in particular, the HD mod that we are about to play through. I dug around and found some credits out on the Nexus site. So, without any further ado, thank you to Jeremy, Willie, Larry G, Voodoo47, Team Kosas, Rez Attic, Slip Tip, the Dark Mod Team, Zorak, R Soul, Purgator, Necrobob, Max Ed, C-Beam, Duran, Fibonacci, Vert72, Nameless Voice, and Robin G. I did say Voodoo 47, right? Just in case I didn't, let's say that again. A few of your names I recognize from the work that you had done on System Shock. Vert sounds like he did the work on the vegetation, and Voodoo 47 helped me get my mods in the proper order for System Shock 2. Thank you guys very, very much. Oh, and Bentrax as well, also known as Gecko. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the work you put into this. If there was anyone who I missed who worked on the HD mod, thank you as well. I couldn't find your names when I went to the credits up on Nexus, but I'm really appreciative of everything you guys have done. And with that said, let's enjoy the Thief game together.
You must learn how to move unseen. Stay in the shadows. Avoid the light. The indicator on your screen will tell you how visible you are. Try to reach the top of the platform without being seen.
Since we're doing the tutorial, I will be talking significantly more than I would normally be doing during the mission itself. We'll talk more about that as one of the house rules going forward. In any case, the indicator he is talking about is that rectangle that you see in the very lower middle section of the screen, to the right of those shields with the pluses in it. That indicates how dark it is to us where we are, how much in the shadow we are. Right now, we are in as much shadow as we possibly can be, and we will not be detected by an enemy unless they are aware of us or sensitive to the fact that they've seen us before, are looking right at us as well and somewhat reasonably close. As you can see, we snuck directly under this gentleman's eyes.
Well done. I did not see you approach.
Open this door to continue. When the door is near the center of your screen, it will light up, indicating that it is selected. To manipulate selected doors and other objects, use them. Good. Proceed down this corridor for your next test.
There is no difference between using an item on the screen here and using an item from your inventory. It is the same button to my knowledge. Looks so well done. It looks so pretty. The textures are amazing. Right, we also possess a map. Let's talk about the map in Thief Gold at the very least and why it is so incredible. I love these maps because it is effectively an actual map. We do not know exactly where we are. Our icon is nowhere here. The area where we think we are located is the bluish section here. The other areas are places that we have not been to or that we were in and are no longer present within them. Looks like the Keeper compound is actually pretty large. Look at all these other rooms, for example, all over it. Interesting. In any case, the map doesn't change, and we can't add any notes to it. Oh, wait, can we? You are kidding me! We can add notes to this! I've played this game for 20 years, and I've never clicked on the map even once. Okay, so we can write notes on it. Really? How about that? I never realized that. Okay, well, anyway, it's a static map, so we can apparently take notes on the map in case we need to do so, but otherwise, it's pre-drawn based on all the information we might have gathered before we went on the mission. Sometimes we might find a map in the mission that will update what we currently have, but that's pretty rare, and we can't really use it, again, to get an exact position from where we're located. Still, it's useful in case you get lost, and in this case, taking notes where things might be.
Now you must learn to move quietly. Some surfaces are louder than others when walked upon, and moving quickly makes more noise than moving slowly. Listen to your own footsteps to hear how much noise you are making. The instructor will have his back turned. You must get to the top of the platform without being heard.
As our trainer said, listen to your own footsteps to see how much noise you are making. It will be a bit of touch and go, pun intended, if this is the first time you're playing the game, as to what makes the most noise and what does not. As you can see, walking on carpet produces almost no noise. Running produces slightly more, But you'd have to be right on top of a guard and bump into him for him to maybe notice the amount of sound you're making on a carpet. I think the order at which you create sounds from softest to loudest are moss arrows, carpet, grass, stone and wooden floors, gravel, metal, and tile. Metal and tile tie, as does, I think, stone and wooden floors for sounds. So, for example, if we were to walk on this.
I could hear that.
Try again. Remember, walk on quiet surfaces and move slowly.
We were currently walking across it, but it still makes too much noise. He heard us do that. We could avoid the metal here, but I want to show you a trick. Crouching reduces your movement rate, which means you'll produce less noise. But it's still a sizable amount it's still quite loud. But you can slowly inch your way forward. And not produce any noise, as long as you're careful and patient and don't press forward too much. Garrett will not step. See? You can expect me to be doing this quite often, especially on tile or metal floors.
Very good. I did not hear you traverse the room.
Beyond this door is a hallway that will lead you to your next task.
The sounds that you make, of course, are mimicked by others as they walk across those surfaces. You will be able to hear guards on tile and metal, or people walking on them, I suppose, not only just guards or creatures, from quite some distance off. But that works the same way for you as well. Generally, you will want to cross such surfaces, ones that produce a lot of noise when you step on them, by waiting until there is no one around, and making sure if there are any doors that lead into that area that they are shut, as that will help deaden the sound that is produced, or that anyone will hear when you're traveling on them.
Now get your weapons. To pick up objects, select them by centering them on screen until they light up. Then use them. Choose your weapon now. Try readying your sword, and then your bow. You can always put them away again if you need your hands free. Now let's go out to the courtyard for some target practice.
Before we do that, a note about our weaponry. Notice how we are in the shadow at the moment, and our bow is currently drawn. Notice what happens to us when we draw our sword. We are still exactly in the shadow. That's the same amount. Wasn't expecting that. Let's move out just a tiny bit here. So, in that shadow, we were in as much darkness as we possibly could be, and it was enough that when our sword was drawn, we were not more visible. Here we are slightly visible. I think that yellow light means that if someone was to look at us, they might see us here, but we are in the shadow. With our sword drawn, notice that our light gem gets quite a bit brighter. We will probably be seen. Here as well, it's brighter still from when we are standing. Again, crouch to keep yourself low and darker. Don't have any weapons drawn, or rather, don't. Oh, nope. Apparently your bow is the same way as your sword, just as I originally thought it was. Your sword and bow will make you brighter when you draw them out. You also move a little slower when you have a weapon drawn, compared to when you don't. For most of this game, I will not have weapons drawn.
Ready your bow. Knock an arrow and draw back the string by holding down the attack button. Make sure you draw all the way back, or your shot will not have full power. Take aim, and when you are ready to shoot, release your attack. See if you can hit one of these targets. Good shot. Keep practicing if you wish. When you are ready to proceed, approach the training dummy and ready your sword.
let's cover a few more things about the bow before we get going. If you fire it without fully, as you can see, drawing back, you will fire an arrow that does not go very far, but it also will not do very much damage to any enemy it strikes, though it might do some. You will want to pull back all the way and then fire. Your arrows, as you can see, arc in flight. It's really difficult to explain how much they arc, but they do. The more that you fire your bow, the more you will get used to exactly the angle you need to hit the enemy. I did pretty good there. Not so good at the little one. We can pretend we hit the center target there. As you can see as well, arrows that you fire into some surfaces will stay. Wood is one such surface, as is grass, or sometimes ceilings or walls which are covered in moss. That is not so for stone surfaces, however, or tile. Your arrow will be lost, shattered. Any arrows that you put into an enemy to damage them are also lost. You will not be able to recover them from them. Two more things about the bow. You can move while the bow is drawn, but it's really slow. It will not, however, impact where the arrow goes, as far as I'm aware. I might be wrong about that. I tend never to move and shoot, but you can do it. Finally, when the bow is drawn back, the arrow is drawn back, and you are aiming, you can zoom in to get a better idea of the angle that you need. However, Garrett is not... there's a lot of pressure put onto a bow and requires a good amount of strength to keep it knocked for too long. Garrett will not be able to maintain that for too long. As you see, you got maybe about 7 or 8 seconds before Garrett begins to wobble, and he'll put his bow away. If you fire while he's wobbling, it will go to where it was wobbling as opposed to the center, so keep that in mind as well. Finally, switching arrow types or drawing your sword when your bow is drawn, or vice versa. In particular, if you have a arrow drawn and then you decide you don't want to do that, or you want to fire a different arrow, it will take you some time to take your bow back out and knock the new arrow in it, or draw your weapon. It's not instant by any means. You actually have to put your bow back on your back and draw your sword from your sheath.
Swing at the target with the attack button. A quick tap will give you a slash. Move the tip of your sword to the left of the target for a left slash, and to the right of the target for a right slash. Hold the attack button down, then release for an overhead swing. Try both slashes and the overhead swing on the practice dummy.
You should know that if I am swinging my sword at something, that things have gone horrifically wrong. It's either something that I can't put down with arrows, or I'm backed into a corner, and I am desperate to defend myself. There may be 1 or 2 times when I actually do take out the sword to kill a creature, but it's going to be very, very few and far between the amount of times I'm going to be doing that. The overhead slash is considered a backstab if you do it from behind someone as well.
Good job. You're ready for a live opponent. To practice against your partner, enter the cobbled sparring area.
Have at thee! You can parry in this game by holding down a button. In my case, it's the middle mouse button and or the X button on my keyboard.
I can wait, Chopper.
In order to block an attack,
Turtle, are we?
you must have your weapon in parry mode, and you must also have it at an angle to deflect the guard's attack. Now, enemies, when they attack you, often will attack you at the same time you attack them. You will also sometimes, as you can see, lock blades with them briefly, in which case you and the guard...
Well done. Keep sparring if you wish. When you are done, leave the sparring area.
You and the guard will both put your weapons down briefly. Oh, right. Guards can also parry your attacks as well. Now, I guess I'll talk about one or two things about fighting a guard really quick. It is possible in this game to get behind a guard and then stay behind him, as the guard doesn't know what to do and can't turn very effectively. This always felt a little bit like cheating to me, because of how easy it is to actually fight a guard that way. So if I have to fight a guard that way, I might do it once, but then I will end up going back to this and fighting the guard normally.
That's enough sparring for today. Please walk over to the table.
We didn't take any damage from the guard there, because this is the tutorial, but taking damage from swords adds up very quickly, and guards can attack you with these quick little combos at certain points. Haunts, especially. We'll cover haunts much later in the game. In any case, you can be killed by a guard very, very quickly, so you don't really want to be fighting guards in such a way.
Would you care for some refreshment before we move on, young Garrett? Please pick up all of the items on this table. Cycle through your inventory to see the objects you have in your pockets. Once an object is displayed, you may use it. Have something to eat if you wish. Then you may proceed. The next test is waiting on the other side of the metal door.
Food heals you occasionally. It's always a bit random if it will heal you or not, but generally food will heal you 1 hit point if you're lucky enough that whatever you ate will heal you. It's completely random. You can eat like 5 pieces of food and you won't get healed once. You can eat those same pieces of food and be healed twice. You don't really know. Just a heads up. Healing potions, like the one we have here. We'll talk about healing potions a little later. Food at the moment is what we should talk about. We just did.
The door is locked, but the key from the table will open it. To unlock the door, select the key in your inventory. Center the door on screen until it lights up. Then use the key on the door. Good. Now head down this hallway to get to your next test.
You can lock doors behind you. I don't think guards can enter doors that they don't or did not have keys for. Don't quote me on that, though. I think if a guard started with the key and you stole it off them, for example, picked their pocket to get it off their belt, they can still enter the doors as if they had the key. I think that's the way it works in the game. I'll be playing as if it works that way, even if it does not do so, but I'm pretty sure it does do it that way.
Now you will learn new movement skills. First, climb the rope by jumping onto it. Move while looking up or down to climb up or down the rope. Turn to change your facing. If you jump again, you will release the rope. Now climb the rope to get to the top of the platform. Well done. Run and jump across the gap to the other side of the stream. Good jump.
We will cover swimming a little later. Oh, we'll cover what I just did in a few more seconds as well.
This obstacle is easy to climb if you know how. First, move close to the wall. Next, jump to grab the edge of the wall and pull yourself up. Good job. I am most pleased with your progress. You have passed the last test for today. If you wish, you may stay to practice your climbing and jumping, or swimming, ducking, leaning, or crawling. When you are finished, you may return to your chambers by going through that red door. Farewell.
There is falling damage in Thief. You can die very easily from falling too far. Keep that in mind. Now, our trainer talked about a few things. We're only going to cover one. Leaning. When you lean, guards will notice you if you're peeking around a corner and it's too bright. If I was to do this, a guard might react that he's seen me. This is especially true because my light gem is not only fully lit, but the light color is red on that one slit on the indicator. But you can lean right and left. This was one of the first games, I think the first game I played, that had leaning in it. You can also lean forward in the game as well. Very useful for reaching out to steal someone's pocket. Maybe a bit of treasure on a table right next to someone, or potentially knocking out someone, or backstabbing them.
The keepers were training me to be one of them, but I found other uses for those skills.
Alright, Keeper's training completed. So let's go ahead, everyone, and stop the video here really quick. I need to check out my voice and make sure that part came out correctly. If everything did, we'll be right back to do the first mission. We'll also be talking a little bit about my house rules before we do the first mission. So give me a few seconds, I'll be right back.
I have a simple job planned for this evening. Break into a guarded mansion, steal another fat nobleman's priceless trinket, and leave quietly. Lord Bafford is out of town, and rumor has it that the captain of his house guard went with him as a bodyguard. The time is ripe for a bit of burglary. The front gate of Lord Bafford's manor is always guarded, and the main street is far too exposed. But Cuddy tells me there's a better way in, around to the side, more out of the way. One guard, and likely no witnesses to complicate matters. The piece Cuddy wants is a scepter. Silver, jewels, the usual adornments. It should command a high price. Bafford, like most of his kind, probably keeps his treasures on the top floor of the place, close to his heart, and far from his servants. No point in waiting. I have Cuddy's old sketches of the place, and everyone who's going to be asleep inside already is. It's time to begin.
Lord Bafford's Manor. Difficulty hard. Sneak into Lord Bafford's Manor and case the place. The well house and back is your best bet, if you can get the key from the guard. Blackjacking or pickpocketing him would be quietest. Find Lord Bafford's prized jeweled scepter, and redistribute it to yourself. Try to do it without causing too much commotion. In addition to pinching the scepter, steal 350 worth of valuables while you're in the manor. Don't kill any of the servants. They're harmless. Once you've achieved your other objectives, get out of the manor house and back to the city streets. Alright everyone, hello! Time to do a simple job. But before we begin, I need to talk about some of the ways that I play this game, and some of the house rules I will have for myself going forward. Number one, as you've probably seen if you watched the tutorial, but if you didn't, you missed it, well, maybe you didn't miss it, I do not run, generally, in this game unless I am being chased or I need to get somewhere very quickly. I generally prefer being quiet and taking my time, and you should expect me to do that in the Thief series. This will not be a speed run through the game, even though I've beaten the game many times. I'm a cautious thief, and you should expect me to take my time. I will wait in shadows, I will listen for guards, I will watch to see if guards are walking around and so on. I don't run full tilt through the missions, grabbing everything I can and having a train of guards chasing me. So we won't play the game that way. Number 2, I will read all the texts that we find in the game. I think it adds to the ambiance and increases our knowledge about the lore of the world that we find ourselves in. So you should expect me to do that. I might comment on what we've just read afterwards as well. Next, I will talk a little more often than I have for the Thief series, because I know some of you really want to hear me talk as I play the game. But I won't talk all that often, because I don't want this to be my voice to be too distracting, and for me to talk about random other video games or just random stuff as I'm walking back and forth. I will do my best to keep what I'm talking about to the things we are experiencing, or things we have experienced in the past and how it might relate to what we're seeing now. I might talk a lot more often when we're waiting for a guard, for example, or I'm watching to see if a guard's on patrol. I will be telling you why I'm not moving forward. Otherwise, though, and especially in situations where it is creepy, or where, how to describe it, the rubbers meets the road, like we have a really tight time to sneak past a guard patrol, get into a shadow, and then sneak out of that past another guard, for example. During those moments, I will not talk at all, because I want the suspense to remain high for those moments. There might be a few missions where we're talking significantly less than I have in other missions in this game, as some of them are quite creepy, and many of them are very dangerous. I will have... wait, 2 more things. So first off, you can see that I have selected the difficulty of hard. The difficulties in this game are normal, hard, and expert. I play the game on hard mode. It's something I've always done. I have beaten, well, when I recorded for my YouTube channel, I have beaten the game on expert, but I prefer playing on hard. The main reasons for this are 2. Number 1, I often, well, not often, but sometimes I am unable to find the amount of money that the game expects me to get on expert. Without knocking out like almost every guard in the entire level, so I have as much time as possible to search it. So this allows me to be a little less thorough when looking for money, and thus it saves me time as I play through these levels, and will reduce the amount of time I'm forced to just scrounge around looking for stuff, which I think you guys would probably find boring, because that would be what would happen. And number 2, I'm not going to play Garrett as a murderer. We'll talk a little bit more about that in my house rules. But I must be allowed to defend myself if I get backed into a corner and there's like 2 or 3 guards there. The guards don't care about knocking you out and taking you to the city guard. Taking you to prisons. They're going to kill you. And, well, quite frankly, I don't think Garrett would just stand there and let them beat on him to death. I think he would take out his sword and potentially defend himself, as odd as that is for someone who is in their home stealing their stuff. But in any case, I must be allowed to defend myself from guards or hammerites or whatever it is that has a weapon that's walking around in these places. That is the only reason why I'm also playing it on hard, not expert, because on expert mode, you can't kill anyone. No humans at least can be killed. Now for my house rules, I am going to play Garrett as a thief, not a murderer. So I will not be killing any people. Or I will do my absolute best not to. The only reason I would do so is because I am cornered. And even then, I will try to run around them. If I am backed into like a closet and I have no way out, at that point, I'm going to draw the sword. And even then, I will try to damage this person enough to make them run rather than kill them. But if they are raising their weapon and they're not running, I might have to kill someone. Number 2, I'm also not going to play Garrett like a thug, as I think this would be less enjoyable for all of us. I am going to limit the amount of knockouts I am allowed to use with a blackjack to 3 per mission, no more. And even then, I will try to do it in 2, but I can think of at least 1 mission where I'm going to need 3. The Downwinders Thieves Guild. I'm pretty sure it's going to take 3 there. In any case, 2 is going to be what I aim for, but 3 is the limit. If I do have to knock someone else out, though, I will have a penalty. I will have to keep 10% of the loot I found in that level and not spend it when we get to the inventory screen as a penalty. Garrett will have to pay for the medical bills, or he'll want to pay for the medical bills of all the people that he knocked out. In any case, the main reason for this is because I think it's kind of boring. If you were to watch me knock out every single guard in the entire level, the game becomes less about being a thief and more about being, well, it's more about knocking out the guard and figuring out where the best place is to do that than it is to go through the levels without being detected. On that note, might be good enough to do the missions without even knocking someone else out, but it would require a lot of saving and loading, and that's something else I'm not going to be doing much of. Once per video, I will allow myself a quick save. I will be allowed to load from that quick save if I'm dead, but otherwise, that's going to be the only time I save the game. When I log out of the game, mid-game, which will happen a few times, because it's going to take longer than an hour to beat some of these missions. So that and a quick save per video, and that's it. If something goes wrong, we're just gonna have to deal with it. Which I think is a lot more fun for everyone when I'm running around with, like, all of Crag's Cleft prison angry at me. Then it becomes, can Tim manage to do it? Rather than, let's just watch Tim reload because a guard saw him. No, we're not gonna do that. Again, should be more entertaining for you guys to watch that. Next, I know what all the tips say in this game, but Garrett doesn't. So if there's a tip for sale, I must buy it. I must spend some of the money on that tip. We have to do it. Normally, you could just buy the tips, go into the mission, read the tips, quit the mission, re-go through the inventory screen, and not buy the tips. But I don't like doing that. That seems a little, well, it's nothing wrong with it. It's a video game. You play it however you like. But I'm not going to do it for our game. And I want our Garrett to know everything that I know. So that means buying the tips. Anything else? There may be one or two more things. My not killing people does not extend to anything that is not a human. As a heads up. So when we're fighting undead, or we're fighting Burks, or fighting other things that aren't people, I will have no issues killing them. I might try to avoid doing so if it's a living creature, but I make no promises. If it's far faster and easier for me to kill a Crayman, for example, than to let it live, I may do that. And I will have no problem drawing a weapon, at the very least, to possibly damage it and scare it away. And I think that's it, everyone. So, let me save this part off, and then we can go ahead and get to the inventory screen. I think what we'll do for our inventory is I will read every item the very first time that we see it, so you guys are aware of what the game's description is of it, and I will talk about it a tiny bit to let you know how it works in the game. So first off, we have our sword. In addition to putting holes in the enemy, a sword can block a foe's attack. That's true, but if you're using your sword to block a foe's attack, that means you're facing them, which is bad, because they should always see your back. You should be running from them. You're not a guard, Garrett, and he's not a murderer. You should never have to resolve to killing someone to steal something. He's got a blackjack. This weapon will knock out an unsuspecting target with little noise and no blood. Generally, you'll have to do it on the back of the head to knock someone out. You can do it from the side, and maybe even the front, if the person is completely unaware of you. You have to be close, though, but from my experience, you can be further away from the blackjack to connect than the sword. I don't know why that is, but that seems to be the case. Healing potions. Restores lost health. Healing potions will restore, I want to say 3 hit points. It might be 4 hit points. but it doesn't do it all right away. It will heal like 1 hit point every 2 seconds until it's done healing you. It's not very much, but it doesn't take much damage to kill Garrett, so you will be glad to have these whenever you find them or purchase them. The water arrow does not do any damage, but it douses torches and other burning objects. Not necessarily true. It does do damage to very specific creatures. We'll see some of these creatures much later on in the game. And sometimes it can do a good amount of damage if it's blessed or not, which we'll talk about later in the game. In any case, though, against humans, it tends not to do any damage at all. But it does indeed douse torches and other burning things, such as fireplaces, for example. It'll put them out. And like hanging lights that are lit, it can put out those candles as well. They're very useful. And in this game, and I think Thief 2, and the Deadly Shadows, guards do not relight lights that have been put out. So once they're out, you gain that amount of darkness that you just did. They will react, however, to torches being put out if they're right next to the guard, for example, when it goes out. They might even become suspicious and look around for you. Broadhead arrows are sharp arrows. They're your main source of damaging enemies from a distance. You do more damage to an enemy if you hit them in the back, and you do more damage to an enemy if they're unaware of you. An aware guard of you who's staring right at you as you shoot him with arrows could take anywhere from like 15 to 20 arrows before you kill them. Maybe less, maybe more. Depends upon the creature and what it is and how aware of you they are. But you can one-hit kill people from, again, the back in the shadows with a single broadhead arrow. We won't be using these very often against humans because we don't want to kill people. But they can be used to make sounds. Fire 1 or 2 arrows into a stone wall near a guard, and they might turn around to look at it and begin looking around to see what's making that noise. Or on metal or tile surfaces, for example. You can stick them into wood near a guard and they'll look around to see what on earth is going on. So they can be used as a distraction in a pinch. Alright, there's nothing new over here that we did not talk about. We have 350 bucks, 300 cash normally, and 50 bucks because we grabbed that vase from the Keeper compound right there at the very end. The way the cash works in this game is the cash you get to spend at the beginning of a mission consists of all the wealth you acquired during the last mission. So, whatever we get from this current mission, we will get to spend on other things in the future. In mission 2, that is. When we're done with this mission, any of the cash we didn't spend here for items for sale and any of the items that we didn't use will be lost. We start all over from scratch in the next mission with the preset amount of starting gear and the cash we picked up from that previous mission. Alright, so with all that said, we have 350 bucks. We're going to buy 4 water arrows. And then we have 150 left. It's not enough for a healing potion. I don't really need the broadheads, but I got nothing else to spend it on. I guess we could take a little less water arrows and buy a second healing potion. In this case, things go really wrong here in Bafford's Manor. So we'll do this. Alright. Let's start.
Hey, I'm going to the bear pits tomorrow. You want to come with?
Couldn't pay me enough.
What? You soft belly. The bears have got these new muzzles with underslung cheek spikes. Last time I was there was a real eye gouging.
Nah. It makes me sick. When I was a kid...
Huh. Surprised you're even in this job.
Ooh, the blood, it just turns my poor tummy.
Shut up, you taffer. You want blood? You should have been there years ago. Tell you, the bears then, they were something to see. Those bears, they didn't need no cheek spikes and razor collars and paw hooks and all that knifery you straps to them now.
No paw hooks? What'd they do? just bump into each other?
Huh? Nah. The bears back then, they had claws as long as your finger, and wicked teeth.
Bears? You're toughing me. They look pretty mangy harmless, as long as they're not wearing harness.
That's why I can't stand the pits now. You don't know what you missed. They just don't make bears like they used to.
Whoa. Killer bears. Would have liked to see that.
Interesting. Remember that this is a magical world that we find ourselves in. It sounds like the bears have devolved into being more like giant hamsters. As the guards make it sound like they don't have claws or teeth any longer. More like cows, then.
It's a few too many to try to get by here.
We should always look at our map when we start a mission to get a general idea of what we have written already in it and the general layout of the places we will be attempting to get into. Watch for interior patrols. Front entrance heavily guarded with, looks like 3 guards marked, and that's what we saw. Looks like there's at least 2 guards on the inside of the keep. Do not try frontal assault. Arrow cache, pick up en route. Looks like someone left some arrows for us here. 1 guard back here guarding the well. Well leads to basement via waterway. And we know about the first floor just a tiny bit. Looks like there's a courtyard with a pool just on the inside. Looks like there's 2 stairs that go up to the 2nd floor, both towards the front of the manor. We don't know much about the 2nd floor, but we suspect the throne room has the scepter. You'll note that a peasant, a servant, walked right past us and into Bafford's manor. He didn't react to us at all, and why would he? We're on the city streets, just like him. To my knowledge, there is no curfew at this moment, at least, and we are not well known enough for us to be recognized as to that a threat. Like, we're not a wanted thief. Even though it does sound like Garrett has done this type of thing before. Steal another fat nobleman's priceless trinket and move on quietly. Not his first time taking something expensive from the noblemen in this city. Looks like it was about 6 water arrows and 12 normal arrows in that cache. There are often alternate ways for you to get to your destination in this game. One of the main things I liked about it was that the game decided to let you go about solving the problems of getting what you needed to get on your own. Looks like a sewer, which tells us a little bit about the city as well. If it has an underground sewer, as opposed to something that was running through the city streets, this place is probably pretty advanced. We even see that there are electrical lights in this sewer, unless this is a water runoff instead. But judging from the manhole, I expect that this is supposed to be a sewer system instead. Looks like Bafford's Manor won't be so easy to get into from the sewer system. A locked gate is here. But maybe we can find a way to open that. You should always look around when you are exploring new places in the game. There are hidden things in the places you would not normally expect to find them, often in hard-to-reach places. Water often hides such things too, and the room that we are in has such a trinket here. A beautiful amulet. The money or wealth you are picking up in the games consists of gold, gems, and goods. As we are playing on hard, it will not matter what we are picking up. And for most missions, it does not. But on expert mode, you will sometimes need to acquire a certain amount of a certain type of currency. You'll need certain amounts of gems or goods, perhaps, in order to complete the mission. So here, we can hear a guard approaching. So we should stay here until we hear his footsteps go away.
Could you possibly be any more helpful?
No reason for that poor guard to be fired for having a bit of fun on the job. We'll leave the key outside. Maybe it will help him keep his job, since we just stole that key to get into the well. Now, I'm not really expecting Garrett to be able to climb back out of the well to get out to the city streets. The map made it seem like there might be an alternate exit out of the mansion on its north side. So we'll take a peek there and see if that's the case. Swimming. You don't run out of stamina or anything of the sort when swimming, but you do have to worry about the amount of oxygen in your lungs. This is represented by that meter that you see on the lower right-hand side. When that meter runs out, you drown. So this is not connected to the sewer system, so this must be the water runoff. Judging from that, that must be the case. I suppose it makes sense if there is a well here people are drawing water from. There are many secret passages and tunnels that you can find in the various levels as well. This place has one such tunnel. That hissing sound is from spiders. It'll be hard to see them, but I can make them out from here. There are 3 in this grotto. Not bad, if I do say so myself. If I make it look easy, know that it is not. You gotta be pretty much perfect with the angle. And I wonder what purpose this held at some point. That someone would leave a chest here.
Since I'm in here, I might as well pick up something for myself.
With what looks like an opal ring. Most of the water in the game that isn't a lake or a pool will have a slight current to it too. As you can see, we are drifting slowly in this direction. It is possible that you will have to fight currents. It's not too bad, and I don't think you have to really worry about it sucking you to someplace you shouldn't be, but once or twice that will be the case. Looks like there's nothing on the ledges here.
Inside at last.
Nothing in this small storage. You can, as you can see, mantle on top of barrels, boxes and the like as well. But to my knowledge, there's never anything in the barrels themselves.
I've been thinking. The Sir could really beef up security some.
What do you mean? What's wrong with us?
Well, we're fine. But I've been thinking we should watch the outsides more.
That's stupid. People to worry about there on the inside.
No, then you catch them before they get inside, you taffer.
Oh.
In case you can't tell, I also will not talk whenever there are any guards or people talking to each other. A healing potion. The barrels themselves won't have anything in them. A nice cool room. Someone's keeping a journal or something down there. There's a key hanging on the wall, and the treasure chest in this room. It looks like the main entrance is to the side. There are secret switches and levers that you can pull. I don't believe there are any to access that room. All the guards in this game are right-handed. They wield their sword in that hand. I can tell, based on that this guard is facing away from us. Not everything that you pick up will be useful or particularly worth something. But the game has quite a few things that you can still pick up and hold on to. Or rather, literally hold on to, but not keep. Often you'll see me stop suddenly in a hallway or corridor, a room or what have you. I'm listening for the footsteps to see if I can tell which direction they are going in, away from me or towards me. So there is a guard in this doorway. His back is currently turned to us, perfect for knocking out. But I'm gonna try to get past him without doing that.
Who's there? Who said that? Don't make me come find you. Come on out then.
There's a chest there, an apple by it, but it's too risky to take it with him so close. A heads up that if you knock out a guard, you can still kill them by dropping the body from a great height or dropping it into water. They will die from heights and drown in water. Keep that in mind if you're trying to not kill someone. Sometimes, chests will have things that you really wish you never picked up. This vase is one such thing. It'll make a lot of noise if we throw it. So, to drop something, crouch, look directly at your feet, and then drop the item with the drop key. Don't right-click when doing that, or you will throw the item at your feet. All items create some sound when dropped. A key dropped on tile may create enough noise that the guards decide to figure out what caused it. Nothing in the servants' room. This tells us a lot about Bafford as well, that his servants have such squalor lodgings, a table and beds, and that's it. I don't know if we have the light that it would take to get past them without being seen. It would seem that this gentleman is the cook. Must be preparing something for tomorrow's breakfast. Doesn't look like he's going to notice if we're here, as long as we stay behind him. He could turn around, though. Would like to read this note as well. Cedric, Please speak to cook about last night's dinner. While technically the menu conformed to my instructions, I suspect that the lamb was somewhat older than this spring's, and I am in no way fooled by his practice of warming the salad to disguise wilting. If Cook is incapable of finding adequate ingredients, he can be replaced. And if he offers those same excuses about stone market shortages, please remind him that the grocery budget is a good 50% above last year's figures, and even he should be able to procure adequate victuals at those prices. Notice that this tells us a little bit about Bafford. He wants the best when he wants something, and the cook is trying to hide that that's not happening. Maybe the cook is pocketing some of that money. A shortage would make it sound like there's less greens around as well compared to normal. Interesting. We can hear a drunk guard. There aren't very many of them in the game series, but when they are drunk, they are far less perceptive of things around them. We may be able to actually walk directly in front of him, but it's not worth the risk. Okay, we are on the north side of Bafford's Manor. Let's give ourselves a little bit of darkness to work with here. I can hear what sounds like a guard or someone walking on tile. It's that loud. We saw a guard briefly. I want to watch him and see what his patrol is. If he turns the corner here, we can just scoot around by making the left. Okay. He walks from that door back to that door. And there is tile on the other side of it. The plates are just made of tin. A switch to our right. That will be our way out then. You can hear what sounds like a guard. Here. So much more extravagant small sitting room than what his servants have. I'm a little nervous. But that guard did not open that door and see us. He just opened the door, though, now. let's talk a little bit about doors. When you're adjacent to a door, you can lean into it, and you will have a better hearing of everything on the other side of it. Let's wait a few seconds for the guard to get a little closer, and I'll show you. As you can hear, he's getting closer. If we were not near the door, this is what we would hear. Near the door? Not near it. Guards can notice treasure taken, but they almost never do. One mission in particular, much later, is one which we will have to worry about treasure being taken out from its defenders' noses. But in this mission, the guards are rather bored. Most missions, we won't have to worry about it. We're going to wait here for that guard to re-enter this room and begin walking down that hallway. I generally like having enough time, as much time as possible, to explore areas behind a guard's patrol, rather than try to beat them to an area. Guards will react if they think they see something. As long as you don't remain in their vision, they will probably not care very much. We can hear a guard. Let's wait here and see where he's patrolling. Okay, there's grass up ahead. There must be some sort of, not a courtyard. Greenhouse? Arboreum? We're up a floor too. If that's coming from the second floor, that must have been quite expensive to do for Lord Bafford. Okay, So there's an opening over there with some grass in it. The guard leaves that area and comes over in this direction. And then it looks like he wanders back. Let's take a peek at what he's doing. There's a door down there. If he walks out into the grass, we'll dash past him. I believe in that direction is the front of the manor. There's probably not much down there, other than maybe the barracks. It would be tricky to search that, and I don't know if it would be worth it. We didn't hear this guard open this door, so I don't think he does. Guards tend to have a fixed patrol route. Some do not, but most tend to do so. A ruby ring, very beautiful. Sounds like that's getting closer to us. And then further away, there's tile and carpet up ahead. We can hear another guard approaching. This may be the first one we knock out. Copper key. We'll hope no one comes in here and finds the body. Guards will react to bodies that are on the ground. Blood on the ground as well, although there's very little of that in this game. Deadly Shadows was a concern. Very beautiful dining room. Some expensive wines in it as well. You can hurt yourself on fire, So you generally want to not do that. One guard in his post, guarding what must be the throne room. We can't get an angle at the lights that are on the distant wall, assuming, of course, that they're torches. He does turn around.
Someone making noise?
We gained a tiny bit of light when we moved forward, just briefly, but it's enough to warn me that if I was to take out my bow, we would be visible. I want to wait till he turns around, then we can draw our bow and put out that torch. I feel like we should approach him from the other side.
Mold everywhere down here.
There's likely mold everywhere because there is a giant hole in the basement leading to an underground river that you're drawing well water from. When he turns around, we'll go for a knockout.
Oh, well. Guess it was nothing.
If he turns this way, we can try getting him from the other side if he doesn't turn his back to the doorway. It sounds like he was a little suspicious. We were in his vision just a little too long and he began getting a little worried. Okay. A bit trickier, this. We have less time to also get him.
It's a throne room. How pretentious can you get? Here we go.
Very beautiful looking scepter, that's for sure. Cuddy will be very pleased with this. The guard will run to and sound one of the gongs if you are seen by him, instead of attacking you right away, to warn all the other guards within earshot that this place is under threat. The guard over there is getting closer, so I will wait a little bit. There is another way into this room. This will be like one of the final times I think I talk about map layout. I'll keep the rest of it a secret in case you decide to play this game. But you can get to those rafters via a secret passage in the garden that we had passed. You can slice a tapestry to access it, and then you can get into this room that way. The type of door that you're opening and shutting matters somewhat too. These are heavy, reinforced doors and are great at deadening sound. Other doors might not be so. A bit dangerous this, but I think we can make it. Interesting little back passage. Let's see where this leads. Very suspicious. Well guarded, with 2 guards patrolling the tile areas above. A long, winding path, but well lit. I'm surprised there aren't torches here, and that these electrical lights aren't in the more important places within Bafford's domain. Nothing hidden under the stairs either. Oh, the room we had seen from the cellar. With more wine. The key to the throne room. And what is this? 32434. Cash pits. Sunny fare. I won't read all this, But this is a accounting of the funds Bafford seems to be taking in through some means, and what he spends some of his money on, with the money being spent in parentheses. Interesting. This is the total he earned for this week. Ramirez, Fendon. Ramirez, Sunny Fair. Looks like he's paying someone to overlook these locations. Ramirez, debtor assist. Sounds like Bafford is into some illegal activity based on this logbook. He's also making less and less money. Bribing the guards, it looks like, as well. What the hell is going on with Drekbon? Even if Guinea's grafting, he damn well ought to be more subtle than this. If it's not turned around in another week, toss it up to Ramirez as breach. What does he mean by that, I wonder? That he's been found out? Or that he wants someone else in that place? Toss it up to Ramirez makes it sound like he's saying that he should inform Ramirez of something. One or two other things while we're doing this long walk, everyone. The amount of life you have on the increased difficulty levels is lessened, but you still do, to my knowledge, as much damage to the enemies if you wanted to fight them. Keep in mind, though, that you can't kill anyone on expert mode. We've seen that this guard doesn't patrol down here. It would be too risky for us, however, to sneak past him and go to the left. So we'll wait till he turns the corner, and then follow him back into the carpeted hallway.
Guys, I gotta get home. The dinner is waiting and I'm starving. I haven't eaten since breakfast.
When I hear him step on some carpet, we may be able to walk a little faster. There is a way to play this game, which is referred to as ghosting, which I am nowhere near good enough to do. But the rules are that whatever you pick up is put back where it was located, assuming it's not loot. You knock out no guards. You use no items that would leave a trace that you had been there, like moss arrows or water arrows to put out torches. And if you take a key, you put the key back, if you can. I think you're supposed to leave keys on guard patrol routes after you steal them from their pockets. I've never been able to ghost a mission.
I wonder if he reads them or if it's just for show.
Unless the printing press was designed for this world, which I don't know if it was or wasn't. This would be a very expensive room, as all these books would have to have been handwritten. Judging from what we've seen of Bafford, it's just for show. Lord Bafford, A recent delivery of antiquities from Bonn contains several items which we felt might be of interest to you. Descriptions follow, but you are welcome to drop by our shop to examine them, or our other goods in person. An ornamental scepter, 3 feet in length. The body of the stave is weirwood, carved in the star and dot pattern. 6 inches of fur rule and 5 inches of the grip are bound with burnished copper overlaid by an ink and glaze cratiquar varnish. The crowning feature of this magnificent piece, however, is a 6-inch teardrop-cut cloud stone. One of the finest of its type we have seen. That sounds so magnificently filthy rich. It sounds like an amazing scepter. And I believe this is what we picked up. A treasure box of 2 feet by 3 feet of silver birchwood. The lid is of inlaid pearline and onyx in a maze pattern carved into the wood. The feet are lion paws, each clutching a crystal globe. The inside of the box contains 2 principal compartments, one with glass shelves and one without. Beneath the compartments is a lockable 2-inch false bottom for your most valuable treasures. God, it just sounds so amazing. I just love reading it. It sounds so expensive. Grimworth and DeParron, fine antiquities and precious relics. What a great name for a store as well. Milordy Bafford. Speak se sell to Guinea did you bid? Drekbon, the Hammerhearts have been afoot, a sulk, a fettering about, grabbing many a one to vanish in the cold stone down beneath their forgy-chained cells. Took they your dealer Tarquis in their clutches night past, and 2 patrons as well, named of Lislay and Rain, scupped up as they left, and these not the first, cries Guinea. Little wonder then if Drekbon grows sparse come these days. Of course, the lack of blame to one hand, but I give Guinea a firm understands ye, blood and doom in the whole book, so he'll be learning him in all he can about how to turn the hammers off him, never you fear. About your Victoria? Nothing yet. Walks an inch above the ground for all the dirt of her footprints I have found. Dominic. Lord Bafford was making inquiries as to what on earth was happening in Drekbon, and it turns out Guinea is unable to handle the hammers. We will learn more about that organization in the next episode. Assuming that we don't die horribly here. Speaking of which, we haven't quick saved, and we're practically done, so let's do that now. We don't know if the guard enters this room or not. The door will not open all the way. I'm going to assume he does more or less the same thing as the other guard, and will walk this way but then enter the garden without getting to the door. If he walks down the hallway, though, we'll sprint for that arc. I think he went out to the right because I don't hear any grass. Oh, we've been here before. We are near the exit. But I think we're on the correct side of the manor as well. Yes, we are. He should walk through that door. Well, that went extremely well for us. Mission complete. Oh, that was fun. Alright, all objectives met. Knocked out 2 guards. Good. 1 under the limit I'm giving myself. Or once again, I'm going to aim for 2 guards as the limit, but we will give ourselves a 3rd if I think I need it. Other than that, we have to penalize. What do you guys think? We're going to play most of the game this way, where I try to talk about what we read, and in particular mention why I'm waiting, and what I think is a patrol route, or why I'm nervous about a certain thing, or not. So hopefully you guys don't mind that too much. I really know Lord Bafford's Manor very, very, very well. Like the back of my hand. I know where every guard patrols and the order and the particular paths they take. But I'm still going to pause where I think it makes sense and indicate what's going through Garrett's head on the instances when he might not know. It is a little, perhaps, I do perhaps ruin this a bit because I'll run into a room where I know there's no guard in there and I know no guard patrols in there a little quickly, especially for Lord Bafford's Manor. For some of the next missions too, but, well, it's hard to forget the game unless I was to put it aside for like 20 years and then come back to it. At the end of the mission, you get to see how well you did. It took us 50 minutes, 56 seconds to beat the mission, and we got most of the loot out of it. I think I must have left a goblet somewhere that I forgot to pick up. And I know there is a tiny bit of coins in the guards' barracks, but I also think it's a little too risky to go and grab it, so I never make the attempt to take it. Alright, well, that does it for us, everyone. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.